Henry and Mudge, the first book by Cynthia, Rylant, illustrated by Susie Stevens. First book of their adventures. Ooh, got a lot of table of contents. We have Henry, Mudge, Henry, Mudge, Mudge, Henry, Henry, and Mudge. Okay. All right, so here we go, Henry. We're going to learn all about Henry, so in our brain we need to start organizing and making lists about Henry. Henry had no brothers and no sisters, number one. I want a brother, he told his parents. Sorry, they said, and Henry had no friends on his street, number two. I want to live on a different street, he told his parents. Sorry, they said, and Henry had no pets, three. I want to have a dog, he told his parents. Sorry, they almost said. But first they looked at their house with no brothers and sisters, and they looked at their street with no children, and then they looked at Henry's face. Then they looked at each other. Okay, they said, I want to hug you. Henry told his parents, and he did. Second chapter, Mudge. Henry searched for a dog. Not just any dog, said Henry. Not a short one, he said, and not a curly one, he said, and no pointed ears. So now our brain is going to organize about Mudge. What kind of dog does he want? Then he found Mudge, and Mudge had floppy ears, not pointed, and Mudge had straight fur, not curly. But Mudge was short because he was a puppy. Henry said, he'll grow. And did he ever? He grew out of his puppy cage, and he grew out of his dog cage. He grew out of 7 collars in a row, and when he finally stopped growing, remember, you can pause and read this on your own whenever you want. He weighed 180 pounds. He stood 3 feet tall, and he drooled. I'm glad you're not short, Henry said. And Mudge licked him and then sat on him. All right, new chapter. Henry. Now we're back to Henry, organizing our thoughts. Henry used to walk to school alone, and when he walked, he used to worry about tornadoes, ghosts, biting bugs, and bullies, so he worries. He walked as fast as he could. He looked straight ahead. He never looked back, but now he walked to school with Mudge. And now when he walked, he thought about vanilla ice cream, rain, rocks, and good dreams. And he walked to school, but not too fast. He walked to school and sometimes backwards. He walked to school and patted Mudge's big head, happy. Mudge loved Henry's... Oh, new chapter. Sorry, didn't see that. Mudge. Okay, our brains now are going to Mudge. We've got to make a list of Mudge's characteristics. Mudge loved Henry's room. He loved the dirty socks. He loved the stuffed bear. He loved the fish tank. But he mostly loved Henry's bed. But Henry didn't have any pets. I guess he got fish too at the same time he got a dog. Because in Henry's bed was Henry. Mudge loved to climb in with Henry, and he loved to smell him. He smelled his lemon hair, he smelled his milky mouth, he smelled his soapy ears, he smelled his chocolate fingers. Then he put his head by Henry's head, and he looked at the fish tank, he looked at the bear, he looked at Henry, he licked him, and he fell asleep. Now we're with Mudge. One day Mudge took a walk without Henry. Ooh, this is something different. The sun was shining, the birds were flying, and the grass smelled sweet. Mudge couldn't wait for Henry, so he left. He went down one road, sniffing the bushes, then down another road, kicking up dust. He went through a field, across a stream, into some pine trees, and when he came out on the other side, he was lost. He couldn't smell Henry. He couldn't smell his front porch. He couldn't smell the street he lived on, and Mudge looked all around and didn't see anything or anyone he knew. He whined a little, alone, without Henry. Then he lay down, alone, without Henry. He missed Henry's bed. Here's Henry. Oh, what do you think? How's Henry feeling? Henry thought Mudge would be with him always. He thought Mudge made everything safe. He thought Mudge would never go away. And when Mudge did go away, and when Henry called and called, but Mudge didn't come, Henry's heart hurt, and he cried for an hour. But when he finished crying, Henry said, Mudge loves me. He wouldn't leave. He must be lost. So Henry walked, and he called, and he looked and looked for his dog Mudge. He walked down one road and then down another, and the sun shone as Henry ran through a field calling and calling. The birds flew past as he stood beside a stream calling and calling. And the tears fell again. He looked at the empty pine trees for his lost dog. Mudge, he called one last time. Where is he? Is he in the city or in the country? It's like a kind of forest. And Mudge woke up from his lonely sleep and then came running. Yay! We solved the conflict. Last chapter, Henry and Mudge. Every day when Henry woke up, he saw Mudge's big head. And every day when Mudge woke up, he saw Henry's small face. Opposites. They ate breakfast at the same time. They ate supper at the same time. And when Henry was at school, Mudge just laid around and waited. Mudge never went for a walk without Henry again, and Henry never worried that Mudge would leave. Because sometimes in their dreams, they saw long, silent roads, big, wide fields, deep streams, and pine trees. And in those dreams, Mudge was alone and Henry was alone. So when Mudge woke up and knew Henry was with him, he remembered the dream and stayed closer. And when Henry woke up and knew Mudge was with him, he remembered the dream and the looking and the calling and the fear. And he knew he would never lose Mudge again.